What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to World of Tanks. I am back with yet another episode, yet another news episode. And in today's episode I am going to focus on patch 9.19 once again, because as you already know, this patch is behind the doors. We just received patch 9.18, but Wargaming has been working on some different things for patch 9.19. And in today's episode I am going to talk about two new tanks, T103, which is brand new tier 8 Soviet TD, and Tiger as well. There is going to be tier 6 Tiger 131. I am going to show you first pictures, armor profile and a few specs as well, so you can see what Wargaming is thinking about doing with those premium tanks, because Tiger 131 is also going to be premium tank. And I also have some pictures of some of the new HD models. So for example, T44, KV13 are going to be reworked into the HD model, as well as IS-2 and some other tanks, and maybe some more information about 9.19 at the end. So let's get going, and let's start with T103, a tier 8 Soviet premium tank destroyer. Or at first at least it was meant to be tier 8 premium TD, but they can still use it as a special reward tank for clan wars or campaigns or different events, or they can bring it into the tech tree as a standard tank. We just have to wait and see, but my guess is it is going to be tier 8 premium TD for everyone to buy. Of course. I actually made one episode about this tank already around 1 month ago, and seems like after 1 month, at least on Super Test server, they did not change anything on this tank, so specs are almost exactly the same if I'm not mistaken. So quickly let's go over it, but guys, keep in mind all those stats are from Super Test server. When they are going to release this tank to the public test server, most likely they are going to change something, but as we know, Wargaming usually is not going to change things that drastically anyways. That is going to change the entire tank playstyle or behavior. So quickly let's go over some specs, some stats. Hit points 1250, gun 130mm boomstick, P13 is the name of the gun, penetration values 258 with standard rounds, 307 with premium rounds and 65 with high explosive rounds. Average damage 440 and 580 with with high explosive rounds. Reload time 9.78 seconds, rate of fire 6.13 rounds per minute, aiming time 2.21 seconds, accuracy 0.35 and average damage per minute close to 2700. So average damage per minute is pretty nice. It is actually almost exactly the same as on E25, that little bugger in tier 7. So to get same DPM in tier 8 feels kinda good. So reload time, penetration, I don't know, is this a little bit too strong or is this okay? What do you think, guys? In my opinion, it is actually quite okay, because as you are going to see soon, it is fairly big tank, it is not that heavily armored, so it is going to be yet another class cannon in tier 8 position. But let's move on. Gun depression -8 degrees, gun elevation +30 degrees. This is some crazy gun elevation action over here. Turret traverse speed 30 degrees per second, traverse speed 15 degrees per second, so this tank is going to be circled to death even by some heavy tanks. Terrain resistances are pretty standard, 1.25, 1.34 and 2.4. Now, I said before that it is going to be yet another glass cannon tank, but I have to correct myself. It is going to be a glass cannon-ish tank, because you can see hull and turret armor values are actually not too bad, but we can see how big this tank is, and turret ring seems to be fairly big weak spot. It has a lot of flat armor places where you can easily penetrate, or where every single tank that this tank is going to face can easily penetrate. So hull armor value 100, 160, which is actually really good for side scraping, for example. Turret armor 220, 145 and 60. So yes, I have to correct myself. It is not going to be that huge of a glass cannon, but still versus tier 8s, I believe they do not have any problems penetrating this tank, and tier 7s as well. That turret ring seems to be pretty nasty weak spot. This tank is super heavy tank for DD, 63 tons heavy tank. Engine power, however, is pretty sexy, 1000 horsepower engine at the moment at least, and the specific power is very standard, 15.87 horsepower per ton. Top speed 40, reverse speed 15, concealment of stationary vehicle 7.8% and of moving vehicle 4.7%. View range 380 meters, so go to the optics or binoculars. You have to use those things if you would like to spot something for yourself as well. Signal range standard 730, so nothing too crazy. And the crew, it has 5 crew members, commander, gunner, driver, loader and loader. So ladies and gents, this was T103 once again. I have to say I really like the gun at the moment. Seems like penetration values, standard round penetration value is going to be good enough to penetrate every single tank you are going to face, so that means a lot more credits to you. You do not have to use that many premium rounds, and 440 alpha damage is not the worst alpha damage in the game. It doesn't have Scorpion G's alpha damage, 490, or maybe some other tanks alpha damage as well, but 440 with under 10-second reload time is pretty beastie in my opinion. So let's wait and see what they are going to do with this tank. And oh yeah, by the way, I actually have some dates as well for public test 9.19. First version, first iteration should be live around 4th of May, but to be on the safe side, let's give it plus minus 2 days. So it is almost behind the doors. We have to wait a few more days to test those bad boys out. Hopefully they are going to be on public test server for everybody to test out, but I am not 100% sure as always. If I have any more information, of course I am going to let you know. But moving on, let's talk about the next brand new premium tank that is going to be here soon, Tier 6 premium heavy tank from Germany. Tiger 131. First specs are as followed. Hit points 950. Gun is going to be 8.8 cm tier 7 gun. Shell types AP, APCR and HE. Penetration values for AP 145, for APCR 194 and for HE 44. Damage values 220 and 270 for high explosive. Reload time 7 seconds, rate of fire 8.57 rounds per minute, aiming time 2.3 seconds. Average damage per minute 1885 damage per minute. And do you know what that means? Every single stat over here is exactly the same as on heavy tank number 6 that we have in the game at the moment. So far, this tank is complete copy-paste of heavy tank number 6. And this tank is on super test server at the moment. But let's move on. Accuracy, once again, exactly the same. 0.38. Gun depression, gun elevation, -8 degrees, -15 degrees. Turret traverse speed, 20 degrees per second. Hull traverse speed, 26 degrees per second. Terrain resistances, 1.2, 1.4 and 2.9. Armor values on hull and turret are exactly the same on this tank, 180 and 80 millimeters thick armor. This tank is 57 tons heavy tank, 650 horsepower engine. Specific power is fairly bad, 11.4 horsepower per ton. Top speed 40, reverse speed 12, concealment 11.4, concealment of moving vehicle 5.7. View range is kinda questionable at the moment. Is it 370 or 380? I am not 100% sure. And this tank has 5 crew members: commander, driver, gunner, loader and radio operator. So you are able to get your situational awareness on radio operator to boost your view range a little bit faster, because you do not have to get situational awareness and recon on your commander at the same time. So this was heavy tank number 6, or sorry guys, Tiger 131 on Super Test server. What they did, they pretty much took heavy tank number 6, they repainted it, and there you go, Tiger 131. Oh yeah, German flag as well. Let's go. Let's sell this tank again. And if you would like to train your German heavy tank crew members, this is your way to do it. I believe a lot of players still want it, because it is German Tiger 131. But first, stats, as you know, can always change. And for the end of the episode, I have some beautiful pictures of new HD tanks that are going to be here with patch 9.19. I was able to get those pictures from Harkonnen once again. Huge shout out to the dailybones.net blog. And we have some pretty interesting tanks over here. For example, T-103 is going to be reworked into the HD model, or actually is already in HD quality, but they just have to release this version. KV-13 looks beautiful as always. Next up we have one tank that I actually haven't heard about before, MTLS-1G14. Okay, in HD quality, seems like we needed it. Alecto is also in beautiful HD quality, as well as Excelsior. Beautiful, beautiful. FT75BS in HD, FTAC. BDR G1B is going to be in HD quality. Vickers MKE Type B. IS-2 is going to be in HD quality as well. I am fairly hyped about IS-2. STA-1. And finally, I don't know, maybe they are going to add more HD tanks, but over here, finally, Renault EU57. Awesome. Beautiful and awesome. And one other interesting thing in the 9.19 Super Test patch notes, we have one, or actually two, pretty weird tanks in the Chinese tech tree. WZ-121G FT and WZ-120G FT. If I remember correctly, those tanks are Chinese tank destroyers. And if I remember correctly once again, those Chinese TDs are going to be available only for Asia server. But maybe, just maybe, we are going to have Chinese tech tree on every single server. The dream is real, guys. It is very real. But guys, I believe I am done with today's World of Tanks news episode. I talked about T103, I talked about heavy tank numbers, Tiger 131. I talked about new HD models and some other things as well. So let's wait for patch 9.19. Once again, first iteration should be live around 4th of May, plus minus few days, as always. And yeah, I get you next time. I hope today's episode was informative. If I have any more information, you know where to find me. I am here all the time with brand new information for you. Stay awesome, stay tuned, and bye.